I'm Cheree Ramirez, the host of Community Unity by Children's Services Council of Martin County, located at the 10th Street Studio. We're at the 10th Street Studio for another Community Unity episode, and I have the wonderful Lori Sang sitting across from me today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Lori is the Executive Director for Little Lights Dentistry, also known as Light of the World Charities.
Yes.
Thank you. Light of the World Charities.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you came to this position.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me today. I'm very excited to share what Little Lights is up to. But a little bit about me. I've lived in Martin County for 41 years. And for about 27 of those years, I worked as with the Treasure Coast Early Steps program, working with young children with disabilities. I have a background in early childhood special education. Managing a very large program, 5 counties, Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River, Okeechobee, and Palm Beach. And we served about 5,000 children a year. So it was a very, lots of things to coordinate. I retired from that program in 2015 with the thoughts that I would go to the beach and enjoy retirement and finish furniture and read a lot of books and do all that kind of stuff. Well, that lasted about 3 months, and I was kind of driving my husband crazy, I think. So I started to do grant writing on the side as a contractor, and that had been part of my responsibilities at Treasure Coast Early Steps. So I took that skill set on the road, and one of the agencies I ended up working with was Light of the World Charities. And I actually wrote the first grant to the Children's Services Council that they got in 2016.
Wow.
So for the 2016-17 fiscal year. And then over time, I continued to contract with them for grant writing services. And in 2018, they contacted me and invited me to come on staff as their grant writer. So I did. I came on as a part-time grant writer, and at that time, there was a lot of other stuff going on personally for me, so I wasn't able to work full-time. About a year into that, the executive director, who had been in an interim position, announced his retirement. And so the board invited me to come into the position of executive director, which I promptly said, no, thank you. And I kind of liked working 3 days a week and just doing grant writing. So after a lot of persuasion by my board chair, I accepted the position. So that was in 2019. And since then, we've just had a remarkable run. The staff is amazing. We're just doing really incredible things in the community. So I can keep going.
Yeah, no, I think that's wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing a piece of that journey.
Yeah.
Where was it that I met you? Were you still with Early Steps when I first met you?
What year did you come?
When I
No,
because it was before I was with CSC.
So in between Treasure Coast Early Steps and coming on staff at Little Lights, I had gone into the business world.
That's what I thought.
World.
Okay,
Yes, right.
And you were doing staffing.
I was working for Principal Personnel Group.
Yes.
And as their COO, and it was a whole new world working in for-profit as compared to nonprofit. We met at the chamber.
Yes.
That was it, because you were working for another staffing company.
I was working for Manpower.
There you
at
go.
the
Yes.
time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that was short-lived for both of us.
Yes,
I think
it
right
was.
after you left, I also left and came over to Little Lights. That's right. That's funny. I forgot that. I thought we had met through CSC, but
no. I was like, I knew that we had met before, but I didn't know if it was another hat that you had worn. I was I knew that you were at Early Steps, but I knew it was a for-profit organization that you worked for.
Which was interesting because at Principal Personnel Group, they were a temporary staffing agency for dentistry. So I learned all about dental assistants, dental hygienists, and dentists, and what their credentialing requirements needed to be before coming to Little Lights. Yeah, it was a whole new world for me. I had never worked in dentistry. I, like everybody else, hated going to the dentist every 6 months, So now it's something that I personally, I love Little Lights, so it's something I'm very committed to, and I was willing to learn about it.
It's one of those things that I might be the odd one out. I love going to the dentist.
Well, good for you. I'm glad. So hopefully your daughter loves to go too.
I mean, right now she's going through orthodontics, so
yeah, there you go.
She can't wait to get them off.
She'll have a beautiful smile. It will all be worth it.
Yes, for sure. So, okay, well, getting back on to the topic of Little Lights Dentistry, what kind of services do you guys provide?
Little Lights Dentistry provides free dental care for uninsured low-income children from their first birthday through high school graduation. And in order to be eligible, children have not graduated from high school yet. They don't have Medicaid or dental insurance, and their family income is no greater than 200% of the federal poverty level. And that changes annually. So this year, for a family of four, that's $62,400 for a family of four. And so we're working with families that don't qualify for Medicaid because they might make just a little bit too much money. So that's the ALICE population that United Way has identified.
Yeah, 44% of Martin County residents.
44%. Oh, yeah. So that's our target population. Those are the kids that would be eligible to come to us because otherwise their family would not be able to pay out of pocket to bring them to the dentist.
And again, that is asset limited income constraint, and employed.
Okay, there you go. See, I always mess up that.
It's one of those acronyms that we have to.
Right.
But that we spoke about that in our last episode with Rob Ranieri. We brought that up and how he's trying to help fit in those gaps.
Yes.
So we are fully aware of the ALICE population. So it's wonderful that there are agencies that serve that population.
Yes. And it's surprising to me the number of children that are eligible in Martin County alone. And the children that come to us, the average age when they first come in for free dental care, they're about 8.5. And for the vast majority, like over 95% of those children, have never been to a dentist before. So let me just go back a little bit.
Yeah.
So as I said, Little Lights provides free dental care. We're the only pediatric practice in the state to offer ongoing, long-term free dental care for eligible children. So there are pop-ups that happen, especially in the month of February, which is Children's Oral Health Month. And so like Indian River State College will do a clinic for the children to come in, and it might be every weekend in that month, but families still have to pay $25 for their child to be seen. For us, there is no fee. And we also offer year-round. So if a child comes in today and they're a new patient, if they fall next month or they get hit in the mouth with a baseball, they can still come back and see us. I mean, it's just something that we're always going to.
Continual care.
Right. It's ongoing continuity of care for eligible children, and we redetermine eligibility every year.
And on that note, for appointments, they have to make an appointment.
They have to make an appointment, yes.
How do they make an appointment to come?
Call the office, which is 772-223-9781, and we'll do an intake over the phone, do a preliminary eligibility determination, and then schedule the appointment. When the family comes with their child for their first appointment, they'll need to read the documentation that will support their eligibility. So we're going to be looking at pay stubs and other financial information like that, and then we'll confirm that the child doesn't have Medicaid and that they're still enrolled in school.
And for that, your hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5?
Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday?
8 to 5. And that's a very typical schedule in the dental world. Dentistry imposes a great deal of physical challenges for the staff. So we think about it. They're hunched over you working on your mouth, so we have to be able to give them a break physically. So 4 days a week is really the maximum that they can work in the facility. So some of the services that we provide would include an initial exam, x-rays, cleanings, fillings, extractions, root canals, crowns. We also have a comprehensive health education program that emphasizes healthy eating. And we keep it simple. We want to make sure that families understand that the more sugar their child eats, or even they consume in their diet with the foods that we eat and drink, that they're going to have a higher cavity risk. So we want families to understand that. So what we do is we address nutrition as part of the program. We also give out healthy recipes every month. So once a month there's a new recipe that they're going to get, and it's not anything complicated. It's something that they can do with their children and make it fun. We've partnered with the University of Florida Family Nutrition Program in the past, and we're working now towards a new agreement with Treasure Coast Food Bank to have them come in and do nutrition classes for the families, or at least provide us with healthy recipes every month. We also emphasize for middle school and high school students avoiding alcohol, drugs, smoking, and vaping. What we're seeing in that population of kids is if they're vaping products that are high in sugar, 100% sugar, and that sits on their gums all day long because they're not drinking water.
At school.
They're at school. They're not brushing their teeth. They're not drinking water. They might actually even be drinking a Coke or a Mountain Dew. Think about all of that sugar that sits on their gums. And so we're seeing advanced bone and gum deterioration.
So you have a full-time staff,
We do,
and
yes.
they dental hygienists.
We have one full-time dentist, Dr. McDally St. Preux. We have 1.5 dental hygienists. We have 3 dental assistants, and one kind of goes back and forth between the front desk and the back as needed. We have a bookkeeper and myself, so it's a pretty small staff, very tight. Everybody's got their role. They're all out busy working with the kids all day long. The really cool thing about the staff, though, is that they're multilingual.
I was going to say, I was going to bring that
up. They speak English, Spanish, French, Creole, and Russian. So we've been able to really communicate with the vast majority of families that come into us. Actually, I don't think we've really had much difficulty with communication, at least lately, unless we get an unusual,
dialect.
Not often spoken dialect. Then we might have some challenges. But there's always a way to communicate, and Dr. St. Preux is. I think that's one of her secret talents, one of her superpowers. There's 2. It's language and behavior management. She can get anybody to sit in the chair and get them to cooperate with her.
I know another one of the services that you provide is transportation.
Yes, we do.
How did you get to offer that to your clients?
So transportation in Martin County is a challenge, the use of public transportation. And so we have families that live in rural parts of the community that it's difficult for them to be able to travel. Even families that live locally in Stuart, it's still hard because we're a mile from the nearest bus stop. So then the family still has to walk the last mile with 1 or more children and go to the dentist, which is not always a pleasant experience, although we try to make it fun. We have a great time. But still, it's stressful. And then they have to turn around and follow that route back home. So I didn't think that was very fair, and I didn't think if I was a parent with young children that I would find that something that I could manage very easily. So we started looking around at transportation options, and this was just before COVID shut us down. So we decided that buying a van was not a practical solution for us because we have children that live all over. And, we didn't want to group them by, okay, Stuart comes in on Monday and Jensen comes in on Tuesday. We didn't want to do that. It just didn't feel natural.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth Barbella at the Community Foundation offered us the opportunity, along with Volunteers in Medicine, to pilot the use of Uber Health. And we had a small grant, $10,000 that first year. So we started that in 2020. And it was a huge success right from the beginning. And we were able to transport one family with one driver. So all of the requirements for COVID and distancing and all of that was easily met. So now what we do is we only offer it to families that really have no other option or way to get to the dentist. We don't want that to be a barrier for the child to have access to dental care. So we offer it. We also partner now with United Way Martin with Ride United, and they use Lyft. So we have Uber and Lyft available in Martin County. That may be a surprise to everybody, but there is. The challenge for us, though, is that not every driver has a car seat. So when we put in a trip request through Uber, if the driver, if there's no one with a car seat available, then we don't have a ride for that child for the day. And we have to scramble. And then we go to Lyft, and it's usually the same thing with Lyft, that they don't have a car seat available.
So would the family be able to provide a car seat to put into the ride?
They could. If they had it, right.
Okay.
So a few years ago, we were looking at partnering with the Department of Health, the local Department of Health, for a FDOT grant for car seats. And it became a challenge because getting a car seat a requirement was that the adult had to have a car.
Okay.
And then they would go to the fire station, and the firefighters would teach them, or sheriffs would teach them how to put it in. They would put it in securely into the vehicle. But the families that we work with don't have vehicles. So it kind of became this, okay, well, they need a car seat, but in order to get a car seat, you have to have a car. Well, they don't have a car because they don't have enough money to have a car. So can we get them a car seat anyway? And it just kind of went around in circles, and we were never able to fulfill that request. So if there is a way, I would certainly be willing to explore options and being able to provide car seats. But then that comes down to us.
Yeah.
Do we store the car seats? How do we give them out? And it's a logistical nightmare. So,
and you guys are a full-service
dental office. We're a full-service dental office, but we're not providing car seats. I just don't see that as something we could feasibly do. So that's definitely a challenge, but we work with it, and some drivers know us and they have car seats available, and so we see the same drivers pretty much often throughout the day.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how many kids do you think you have served since you've come on board?
Well, since
2016.
Yeah, since 2016. I just
grant.
did the numbers because I'm running all my year-end reports. 2,012 children have received free dental care through Little Lights Dentistry since 2016.
And for that, and that's for continuum of care.
Yes, that's every child has ever come in and received a service from us. In 2024, the 23-24 fiscal year, we served about 1,020 kids.
Wow.
Again, surprising, right? Because we live in paradise and we don't expect that children are going to be living in poverty in Martin County.
Who meet the requirements to be able to get the service.
Yes. So that's just, like you said, 44% of the county. The rest of the children either have private dental insurance or they have Medicaid. Right? Yeah. Or they're uninsured, but they make too much money to qualify for our program. So those kids are going to go, and their parents are going to pay out of pocket when there's an emergency for them.
Wow. Okay. So do you guys provide any orthodontic care, or do you have partnerships within the community?
Yes. So really exciting. We had gotten a grant from the City of Stuart. Thank you, Stuart. Yay. And we're adding 4 more dental exam rooms or operatories to our current facility. We had a huge storage space on our campus, which we're located on the campus of St. Joseph Catholic Church. Our address is 1300 Southeast 10th Street in Stuart.
So just right up the street
Sweet
from the
B.
studio.
Yep. So we got a grant from the city to expand our office area. We also got a second grant through the Florida Association for Free and Charitable Clinics to be able to buy equipment for that facility. And then also Children's Services Council. We have a small component of our grant goes to equipment as well. So one of the things I had done last year, around the same time that those grants were being written, we had an opportunity for a dental program expansion grant through the Florida Association for Free and Charitable Clinics. So our goal was, as I said before, we provide general dentistry for the children that come to us for pediatrics. If a child needs orthodontia, if they need a complicated oral surgery, like their wisdom teeth need to be extracted, or they have some kind of complication, we don't do those services in our office. So we had to find partners in the community that would be willing to work with the children that come from our practice and accept a Medicaid rate of service. So that didn't, that was a challenge to find partners in the community that were willing to do that. But we found them. To answer your question about orthodontia, Dr. Bacani is one of our partners. So our current practice is if a child requires a specialty service and they live in Martin County, this is only particular for children in Martin County because we serve kids from anywhere throughout the state of Florida that meet the eligibility criteria and can get to us.
Because you're the only one in the state of Florida.
Yes. So the grant idea was right now for a child that needs specialty care, we coordinate with our dentist, Dr. St. Preux. She will make a referral to one of our partners in the community and send the treatment plan and x-rays, and then they meet with the child and they agree, the 2 dentists agree on what the treatment plan is going to be and what the cost of those services is going to be. Then we apply for funding either through Cleveland Clinic Capon Fund or Children's Emergency Resources, which is funded through the Children's Services Council and United Way, to pay that dental specialist. So there's a lot of moving parts in order to get this appointment set for the child. We'll also provide transportation if they need it. Then we pray that the child shows up. And if they miss the appointment, that process starts all over again. So what we envisioned we would do was provide those services in-house. Instead of sending the child out to the community specialist, we'd have the community specialist come to us.
For one day a month?
Yeah, 1 day a month. So orthodontia, endodonty, and oral surgery. I had money in the grant for them to come in, and I had a day rate, but it was too low. So I couldn't get any of the dental specialists to accept the rate for services, so that program kind of went flat. We were able to repurpose the money and put it towards our program expansion, but we weren't able to hire those dental specialists to bring them in. So what we've done instead is, or in addition to, we have brought on students. So students from Indian River State College, dental hygiene students, first and second year. They complete their pediatric clinical rotation at Little Lights. We have agreements with Fortis Institute in Port St. Lucie and Palm Beach Dental Assisting Academy in West Palm, and they provide students to us for their pediatric clinical rotation. We also have students that come through Martin County High School that are interested in exploring the field of dentistry. Right now we have 2 students, one from UF, who is a Martin County grad. She is going to be a senior this year coming, and she's doing her dental school applications. Now, she's volunteered with us for the last 3 summers.
Wow.
So dental schools look for candidates that have practical hands-on experience. So coming into our office for a few months during the summer and then coming back on school breaks, that really gave her an advantage for her applications to dental school. We have a second student from the University of Georgia who graduated from St. Joseph's, lives in Stuart, and was trying to decide at the beginning of the summer, did she want to go to medical school or did she want to go to dental school? And now she's leaning towards dentistry, so she's also had a great experience. And I think it offers a couple of things. It gives students the opportunity to experience community dentistry in a really good facility. You know, we see children by appointment only. It's a beautiful facility. It looks like your regular dental office, you know. And so coming into community dentistry doesn't have to be so off-putting. We also have the opportunity to share with them that if they do a certain number of years in community dentistry once they're licensed, that they're eligible for tuition forgiveness. So that will help with their student loans. It's not a giveaway. They're actually working for that loan forgiveness. So I think it's a great opportunity for both Little Lights and for the students to experience working in a practice like ours and then committing to it themselves. You know, not everybody is going to be at a oral surgeon's office downtown, you know. I mean, nothing wrong with it, but, you know, people have different expectations and desires for their careers, and so we're just showing them another opportunity or an option for them to consider.
Well, that's wonderful. And like you said, your office is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
It looks like a regular dentist office, you know, that you would go into.
Except we have pirates.
You do have pirates. I was going to bring up the artwork on the walls.
Yes.
Lynn
Thank you to Lynn Barletta
yep.
at this Visionary School of Arts in Stuart on Indian Street. Amazing artist. She's just a fantastic person.
Each room has a theme.
Each room has a theme. So we chose to go with Pirates of the Treasure Coast. And we have boy pirates and girl pirates. We've got this great pirate ship. And Lynn made this amazing treasure map for us that's posted on the wall. You have a picture in front of it, yes. So, and it just immediately makes children comfortable. So one of our goals is to teach children and instill in them that going to the dentist is something everybody has to do, and it's fun. You know, don't be afraid. It's okay. And like I said before, most of the vast majority of children have never been to the dentist before. So it's a great opportunity for us to introduce them to something that will be pleasant and fun for them, and you know, a nice learning experience. And the dentist is just another one of her superpowers is she can take a screaming, crying child and calm them down and get them to cooperate. So, you know, we never force anyone to sit in the chair, but we do have a few tools that will help us. Like there's a TV in the ceiling,
yes, I was gonna
so
say,
the children can watch a movie.
All the things
you know, we have nitrous oxide,
yep.
which is laughing gas, and we'll use that if the child is really anxious or if they have a long procedure. It just makes it easier for them. So yeah, we do have a little tools and tricks of their trade, but it's just a wonderful opportunity for children to learn that this is okay, you know. And also it puts the parents at ease because most parents have not had pleasant dental experiences, especially as a child. So coming to us, they need to learn to trust us. We need to be able to instill that trust in their child as well. So getting them on board is a really important part of that.
So what are some of the asks or the needs that you guys throughout the year might have a request for?
We can always use toothbrushes. Toothbrushes, toothpaste, floss, and mouthwash. Every child gets a goodie bag when they leave, so depending on their age. And we've got specific packets that we give to them based on how old they are and the condition of their mouth. So we want every child to have their own because what we found was families were sharing toothbrushes, and we don't want that. We want the parent to have their own. We want the child to have their own. Every child has their own toothbrush. And then for the older kids, we have the No Cavity Club. So we had a little boy, Fernando. He was the very first kid in the Cavity Club. Now there's like 50 children that are in there. And in order to keep them cavity-free, we really emphasize brushing twice a day with a fluoride toothpaste, flossing daily, rinsing with a mouthwash, eating healthy foods, avoiding alcohol, drug smoking, and vaping. So for those older children, students that have come in and they're cavity free, we give them a battery operated toothbrush, which is like the bomb. And then
I want one.
I know. And then they get a full tube of toothpaste, like not the little ones that you get from the dentist. We give like a regular size. And that is just so, it's like giving them, $1 million because they're just excited to have their own. It's something of their own that they can use and better themselves. And they kind of treasure it. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, because you help them have a beautiful smile.
Yes. So we had a little girl, Alexa, who came in. This was a couple of years ago, and she just had such decay in her mouth. And she's this beautiful 5-year-old little girl. She was actually one of the first children that we used Uber Health for because we needed to figure out a way to get her to our office. And we can't transport. So, we had to figure out a way to make this work. So anyway, she and her mom came. They were one of the first Uber users. And she just, when she first came, she didn't smile. She didn't make eye contact with us. She really didn't speak very much. And so once we realized that there wasn't a language barrier because doctor could speak to her in Spanish, we were able to, go in and do some restoration on her smile. Now when she comes in, she is like, she skips in, hey, everybody, and she's saying hello, and she's smiling, and she's just got a great smile, great level of confidence, and very outgoing. So that's what happens when you don't have a good smile.
Yes.
You're not going to smile to people, right? You're not going to smile at them. Even when someone smiles at you, our natural reaction is to smile back, but not everybody does that.
And not with your teeth.
Right.
I learned how to smile not with my teeth growing up because I had some things that I wasn't very comfortable with. But now I'm like, okay, I love my smile now.
Yes, it's beautiful. So,
thank you, Dr. Turk.
And, we just want to instill that in the children. They have enough challenges. We just want to make them happy and comfortable and confident in who they are.
Well, when you give to Little Lights Dentistry, you're giving a smile to a
absolutely.
child.
Yep. Give a smile today at littlelightsdentistry.org. Check us out.
Littlelightsdentistry.org is where you can go and find more information, make a donation.
Yep. There's lots of pictures. You can see the children. You can see our staff. We highlighted them in the month of March because it was Women's Month, and so we just said, okay, hey, look, everybody, this is our staff, and so there's a lot of information there. Our sponsors are listed. Our partners are listed. If anyone has any questions, they could always email me through there, info@littlelightsdentistry.org, or directly to me at lsang@littlelightsdentistry.org. If you want to come by for a tour, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm happy to show you. Kind of in a mess right now because we're under construction, and we have all of our equipment that we were able to purchase through those grants needed to be purchased, paid for, and on site by June 30th. So we've got stuff in our conference room that's just, we have dental chairs, we have stools, we have countertops, we have all kinds of stuff that's just shouldn't be in the waiting room.
I can't wait to see when it's completed.
Yes, me too. I'm so excited.
We'll come and do another tour.
Thank you. I'd love to host it. And we are partnering with Team Parks. Team Parks is amazing. So we work with Brett Zurich. He's our project manager. And then we have 2 site managers, I think. I don't know what their titles are, but Dan and Jonathan, and they've just been amazing. They come in, they've been very sensitive to the needs of the children. They're always asking questions, very detail-oriented, making sure that it's just going to be exactly the way that Dr. St. Preux wants it to be. So,
Well, I know Ryan Strom from years of community and leadership, and he's always been so engaged and willing to give back. And,
absolutely.
For a fair rate.
Yes, they were great. I mean, we did a competitive bid process, and they were just the best one for us to work with, and they were local, and we wanted to work with a local contractor. So, and all the subs have been amazing, and it's a great way for us also to introduce our practice to a segment of the population, right, that we don't normally come into contact with.
Exactly.
So when we have deliveries or anybody comes into our office, they'll ask, what do you do here? And one day we had the ADT was out, and it was a young technician, and he came in the front door, so he didn't see the dental area. And when he came in and asked me to sign the paperwork, he said, what is it that you do here? I said, captive audience, let's go on a tour. So I took him around on a tour, and he was walking around going, this is just amazing. I never knew what you guys did. I didn't even know you were here. And next thing I know, he takes out his phone, and we're FaceTiming with his wife because they had 2 small boys at home. and they hadn't been to the dentist yet. So I said, absolutely, if you guys meet the criteria, please come on in. We had an appointment with them for the next week, and they were able to come in and get services.
See, that's amazing. That's like the community conversation. It just, you never know who you're going to be talking to
Absolutely.
and who might need the services. So really, community unity is happening just walking through the doors
Absolutely.
of Little Lights Dentistry.
And I will take everybody on a tour. So I just want them to see what we do. You know, people don't understand how important dentistry is for our children. And it's the foundation of our health. If we have a bad mouth and we have decay in our mouth, we're not going to eat. Our self-esteem is affected. School attendance is affected. Socializing is affected. And, you know, if you're not confident in the way you look, you're more comfortable staying at home playing video games or watching TV or reading a book by yourself. None of those things are bad. But if that's all that you do, then that's bad. We want the children to socialize. We want them out in the community. We want to raise people that are going to take care of our community after we retire, you know, which hopefully for me that will be soon.
Investing in our future.
Absolutely.
With every little smile that
every little smile like that. Oh, I'm using that. Investing in our future with every little smile. Love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stealing it.
So Children's Services Council is a proud sponsor, proud supporter of Little Lights Dentistry, and it's because of the Martin County residents that make it possible because of their continued support.
Such a giving community.
For 35 years of CSC. And I just love that we can make a difference. And we're part of that difference.
Every day we're making a difference. Even in the little things. Like I said, if we can get a child to be comfortable going to the dentist, then they're not going to dread it for the rest of their life. That's a huge win for us. And then on top of it, we can teach, you know, to avoid alcohol, drug smoking, vaping. We can teach proper nutrition. We can teach brushing. We can teach flossing, and just really reinforcing all of those great habits for families. And teaching the parents those things too, which we think is something that we should know, but not everybody does.
Well, and it also could be like a generational thing where they didn't go to the dentist themselves growing up and didn't see the benefit of it.
Correct.
And you know, I brush my teeth. I'm good.
And so I have met so many adults, but professional colleagues, but also other visitors that come in and say, when I was a child, we couldn't afford to go to the dentist, so we went to the college who had a clinic. So this is way nicer than where I went for my dental care, you know? So it's really nice to hear that people had different experiences growing up, and they still have a beautiful smile. So, you know, I think that the children that receive dental services through Little Lights are learning to be comfortable in the dentist's office, are learning how to take care of themselves, are learning how to eat properly, and then instilling in them that brushing and flossing are things that you just do. You know, it's like you get up, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, you brush your hair, you get dressed, and you go to school, right?
You're doing so much more by instilling confidence.
Agreed. Absolutely. And not only for the child, but also for the family, because it's empowering them to take care of their children. And we don't want barriers to be in the way of children having access to quality health care. And, you know, for families that don't have insurance, they don't have Medicaid, they're making a choice between putting gas in the car to get to work or taking the child to the dentist because they have an infection in their mouth. And we want to avoid children going to the emergency room for dental care. So we were taking part in a project with the Florida Association for Free and Charitable Clinics to look at the impact that all of those clinics throughout the state have on the numbers of families and individuals that are seeking care at the emergency room. So this is a new project that's just getting started this year, so it'll take us a few years to bring up the data, but I think it's going to be important for us to be able to understand the impact that we're having on the healthcare system in general as well.
And I had no idea that you can go to the emergency room for dental care. But like, really, but that people actually do that.
They do because they'll go if they have an infection, they'll go and get antibiotics. But the problem is that the ER will say, take this for 7 to 10 days and then see your dentist. So 7 to 10 days, the infection settles down. They don't have a dentist to go to. So then they just kind of carry on. until it comes flaming back again. And so it's that cycle of going back to the emergency room and getting the antibiotics and then going home and taking the antibiotics, but then not really treating the infection at the root cause. So we want to be able to intercept that and get the children to come to us instead of going to the emergency room.
That would be really interesting.
Yes, it will be. I know. I can't wait. We'll have it in a few years.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for coming and joining me today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us. Yes.
And I'm so excited to be a part of just this wonderful community, because we have so many wonderful organizations and people who genuinely care, and you can tell by by how you're talking about it, and how wonderful it is that you had that stepping stone before.
I know, right?
To learn. I mean, it was meant to be.
It absolutely was. My path has been directed to where I am. I had no intention of becoming an executive director of another organization. It was just not something I thought I wanted to do again, because it's just so challenging. But this is on a different level. I have a professional staff that is very excited to come to work every day. We have a community that values the work that we do. We have children that so desperately need dental health care, and we provide it for free. I mean, what's the downside? It's a great opportunity, and I just love working there. And being able to utilize my skills as a grant writer just makes it all the more better, because we don't charge for our services. So everything we do is based upon grants and donations. So we need to raise, over $1 million a year to be able to do that. It's not easy.
And the cost per service, I don't think I went over that with you.
It varies depending on what the procedure is, and we follow the American Dental Association guidelines for that, just so that we can understand the value of care that we're contributing to our community. And since 2016, it's been over $9 million. So wow. on average, this last year cost about $1,000 per year per child. Some children only have to come for cleanings twice a year. That's the very rare unicorn child, that you only see every once in a while. But the majority of children that come to us, especially the first year, we're seeing them like 7, 8, 9 times.
Because
and that's if they comply.
You're having to fix some of the old habits and build new ones.
Or, and like I said, if the child has never been to the dentist before, we're starting from scratch and they're 8 or 9 years old, or they've had experiences in the past with other dentists that wasn't pleasant and very traumatic, and so we're having to deal with all of that before we can really even start on the dental care.
Again, littlelightsdentistry.org. Is a way that you can go on to Lori's website, to Little Lights Dentistry. You can learn more about the programs and also donate there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Lori. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your work and the heart that you have for the work that you're doing.
Well, I can say the same to you. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I appreciate the partnership that we have with the Children's Services Council and for your advocacy efforts, because without it, we would not be able to get the word out like we are now. So thank you for that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Happy to do it.
Yes.
So we will see you next time, and have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to Community Unity. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Share our information with friends and family to help spread the information on life-changing programs funded by CSCMC, made possible by the homeowners of Martin County.